Kim, I've heard you talk a couple different times now just about the scouting report on this one. Care to give it to us?
We lost to Auburn. I thought that they were very physical when we played them there. I thought they were very aggressive defensively and offensively. And we get another chance to try to beat them. Very well coached. Obviously, when you have a team that commits to defense like they do and are very aggressive, get in passing lanes, it's not going to be easy just to make a simple pass. Then that's obviously being enforced and reinforced by the coaching staff.
Yeah, Coach. For the players coming off a loss to Auburn, just is there that extra motivation from them? I know this team likes to have that type of internal motivation.
I would hope so. I mean, it's not like we sit down and discuss it. I just have Coach Bob present the scouting report, show film of what we did in the last game we played against A&M, and then some stuff that we did and didn't do against Auburn last time. Then you take some film from their current games. If they're tweaking anything or doing anything any different, then you get out on the floor and guard them. And we won't be on the floor long today. We'll go late today because men's basketball has the court. But we'll get on the floor, and then tomorrow's a long day. And so we'll have time tomorrow to do some more stuff. But they know who's beating them.
Yeah, to that end, listening to your radio show last night, I got the impression that you felt like maybe your team didn't take them seriously or expect the good punch that they got.
I don't know that I'll ever say my team won't take somebody seriously. Our coaching staff doesn't approach it like that. I think you give credit to the opponent. I think there was maybe a 35-minute period of time in that game that the crowd really didn't get into it. I think it was like, do we cheer? It's a close game. And then about the last 5 minutes, I thought the crowd got into it and realized that Auburn had a chance to beat us, and they really helped make that atmosphere loud the last 5 minutes. So I hope that our fans will do the same. It's an 8 o'clock game. A lot of people will stay home and watch it on TV, but I hope more will come because you've got 2 games left in the regular season, and potentially if you can get a top 16 seed, you got 2 games here. So it's winding down, and you may never see the likes of Angel again and Haley again. They will move on to their pro careers. So get out here and watch them and see them in person.
What parts of that Auburn game, the loss, were the most challenging for
What?
y'all?
What?
What parts of that Auburn game were the most challenging? What was the toughest part of that game for y'all?
We couldn't even make a pass to the wing. They were in passing lanes. We didn't do a good job of getting open. I think we missed like 12 layups in that game. And I just thought that obviously our defense was not then what it is today. And we just were out of sync. That was the game where I wanted Angel to tie the ball game and ran something for her because honestly, I remember I was afraid she'd never touch the ball again.
Kim, I know, excuse me, I know you and coaching staff and Michaela herself wants to play well every time she hits the floor, but I was curious, how important is just like a little bit of a quote-unquote slump or just a little rough patch for her in her freshman year, how important it is for her development, in the future 2-3 years down the road?
I haven't thought of her as being in a slump. I've got 5 players averaging in double figures. She's a freshman, sometimes being asked to guard older players. She got in foul trouble at A&M and couldn't get in a rhythm, but no. I think what happens with freshmen, this time of year, they're playing for a state championship in high school. Well, now they're not. This is the grind of elite basketball at this level, and you've got another couple months. to play. So maybe that's more of what happens to freshmen than slumps. I think Michaela has had an unbelievable freshman year. She's adjusted to the college game. She has had, 42 points in that one game, and, she's got a lot of things that she did good this year and continues to just get better at it. Now, in her eyes, she may be struggling, but in my eyes, she's doing great.
You mentioned there's only 4 games left in the regular season, and people are now putting up projections and brackets and this and that. Does that bring a little excitement in second wind, or it's still the process, one game to the next here down the stretch?
I think when the 4 games of the regular season are done and you head to that third part of your season, the conference tournament, and then the excitement really ramps up when you head to the NCAA tournament. So you're really just focused on the 4 games and really the next game. And this is a game where you don't a lot of times get a chance to play somebody again that beat you. So, and get to do it at home. So I hope that our players will remember what happened to them when we went to Auburn. They will.
You've seen a little bit of an edge develop with your team, a bit more, I want to say, push back, in these games. And are you being built a little bit better now to withstand some of the?
I think we are peaking at the right time. We've been scoring all year. There are a few games here and there that you didn't score the ball. Scoring has never been the issue. The issue has been playing together defensively, playing aggressive defensively, understanding when you start the game you need to be the aggressor, confidence. I've got confidence in my teammate. She has confidence in me. Transition defense is better. Running the floor offensively is better. And that's what you want to do. You want to kind of peak here at the tail end of your season. And that's how you go deep into the playoffs. You got to stay away from injuries. You got to be playing really good basketball. You got to have a little luck along the way. And you hope that – I know what I see. But I think the bye week really helped us. The 2 bye weeks coming when they did late in the season helped us a lot. Well, they just, you don't have to think about another team. You just, forever how many hours you're out there, you're focused on each other and yourselves, and you stop and you correct and you show them, and they start doing it for each other and with each other, and I see a big difference in what we're doing now than a month ago.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're focused on your team in the SEC, but just across the country, this freshman class, obviously y'all have Michaela, but Talia Scott, Arkansas, you go down the list of just the amount of freshmen that are putting up crazy numbers. Just what have you seen, or what are your thoughts on just this freshman class and just the young crop of players?
I love Michaela Williams, and I'm glad I get to coach her. I don't keep up with the rest of them. I hope they're doing what they need to do for their teams. I know Michaela Williams came here and knew the talent she would be playing with. She's fit right in. She started from day one. She bust her rear end to get on that floor, to stay on that floor. She just, as I tell all of them, if you came here to put up numbers like some of them, I think what you're referring to, they're shooting how many a game? Well, we're not going to let Angel do that. We're not going to let Flagey. Our system is such that everybody's going to eat. Everybody's going to get a piece of the pie, and everybody's going to score, and everybody's going to do good. To me, that's hard to do as a freshman, what Michaela's doing, to come in here with the talent she knew we had and bust in that lineup and stay on that floor. Much respects because it's about winning for Michaela. It's about, trying to repeat as a champion, and she wanted to stay home. So all I care about is Michaela. She's the most important freshman in the country.
Kim, you got 4 important games left, but can you also see where in the past you haven't really.
Now, let me correct that. I have 4 freshmen, but you mentioned Michaela. So the 4 freshmen I get to coach are the most important freshmen in my world. So make that perfectly clear, but you only mentioned Michaela. Let's remember Janae and Jello and Aaliyah. Those are the four that I focus on. I'm sorry.
Four important home games, four important SEC games left, but can you also see where maybe the SEC tournament might be more important to you for maybe seeding and maybe trying to avoid them sending a really salty 2 or whatever seed here?
Well, they wouldn't send a 2 seed here. You're going to get, you know, I don't know if you're a 4 seed, what numbers get sent here. I'd have to look at the bracket stuff. Honestly, I quit worrying about that stuff years ago. My goal is to finish second in the league, and we have a tremendous opportunity to do that. Again, won't this be our 3rd year to finish second in the league? Is that right? Okay, if you can't win it, that's the next best place to be. If you lose in the first round, if you go to the championship, I don't know how they weigh all that stuff. I just know we've got a top 16 team in the country. Use your eyeballs, okay? And let's go play.
Coach, the men have a big game here tonight against Kentucky, and I just want to ask you, as the 2 basketball coaches on the campus, what have you seen out of Matt and what he inherited, and fighting through this to try to get it to where he wants it to be?
Well, I didn't know Matt personally. When he was hired, I knew of him and what he had done at Murray State. I think just look at his record from last year to this year. Look at the talent. Is the talent better this year than last year? Is the things he's doing on the floor keeping him in games when maybe the other team is just much more talented? That's how I judge good coaches. What happens is fans and people and the noise from the outside have opinions, or sometimes negative. It's, what do you know? Are you at practice every day? Are you watching? I think he's done a tremendous job since he's been here. Now, I'm also a realist. If you think what we did in 2 years, he should do that, get real. We did it in 5 years at Baylor. 5 years is unheard of. Just watch the progression and see if it's better. And if anybody's looking out there and can't see that, you're not wanting to see that. I think he's doing a very good job. You have to continue to recruit. You have to continue to be in those ball games that maybe you shouldn't be in. You're competing, and then win those games and sneak one from somebody that you maybe shouldn't beat. And I think they've done all of that. I think what a tremendous daddy he is. He's got 2 girls and a son, and he comes to camp when his daughters are at our camp. And I just think the world of him because he married a former women's basketball player, so he's damn smart. See, this is what I try to tell you. And I tell all our dream teamers, and I tell my son, you better pay attention to who you marry. Genes matter, or you're going to be a miserable little league dad. Right? He married an athlete. He married a basketball player, and I bet you those offspring, those 3 kids, are going to love it or either play it. Yeah, y'all liked that, didn't you? It was funny, wasn't it? Don't get me in trouble. I'm tongue in cheek. But there is something to that, right? Kramer, he's limited. He's 5'9". Well, you think he's going to go marry a 6'2" athlete? Not Kramer. He's too arrogant, too cocky. But I said, you better go think about those genes, brother. Yes. But, you guys, that's the way y'all are, Y'all better go get you some tall women.
You said that before. I always thought you meant because you're a single dad at the big games. But now you're
Yeah. I tell y'all, you better check out these athletes now. Y'all don't get me in trouble. Lord, I'll get attacked from everybody, and Coach is having fun today.
We'll go to Kessa in the back.
Just the confidence that Aaliyah is playing with at the right time, it seems like. What have you seen from her?
Sometimes when you're a freshman, whether it's Michaela you ask about or Leah, they still have the memories of their high school careers in their brain, and they think that they're struggling or they think that they're not doing good. And you have to bring out stats and you have to make them relate to former players you've coached. And for Leah, if you look at her stats and you look at some of the freshmen or former players that were freshmen for me, and you say, look what this one did her freshman year, and look at your stats. Look at what this one did, and look at your stats. And I think that helps. She can hear it from me, but I think sometimes if you just show them things, they'll go, oh yeah, okay. And she's 6'5", as I've told y'all, on her worst day. At A&M, she blocked 3 shots right there in front of the bench and just altered their shots. She's just a happy, loving, like a teddy bear. And you just look at her and she giggles. And she is playing good basketball right now.
Was the A&M game the best performance you've seen from Flage in her 1+ years here?
That first half was. Now, she got fatigued in the second half, but I thought Flage's first half was maybe her best all-around game that she's played since she's been at LSU. 2 phases of her game, she is really has really added. We knew she could do the spot-up shot. We knew she can go in there and get you rebounds. But her defense and being very willing to guard the best player on the perimeter for the opposition, and her ability to put it on the floor and dribble penetrate. Those are things that she's worked on her game, and it was all visible in that first half at A&M.
I guess Flage, she sort of, have you seen, since she came here, she's had sort of like an ability to finish, her layups around the rim, but have you seen her now sort of develop the ability to get to the rim and use her handle and quickness to get to the rim as well?
That's what I was talking about with the dribble penetration. She's now going to take you off the dribble some and get to the rim. A lot of times she tries to get to the rim, and I tell her, just stop and shoot that little jumper right there. Earlier in the season, she would run over people. And so now she maneuvers her way and reads it a little bit better. But she's playing very good basketball. And I think another area that Flage, you guys would not notice and see, but Flage being just a sophomore, one of our team captains, she's leading. She and Michaela, they kind of help each other. And she's really being a good leader, both in the locker room and on the floor, and just growing up. And sometimes I have to be careful because I've got to remember I've got a freshman on this wing and a sophomore on this wing, and make sure my expectations of them are fair.
I know you're not there yet, but could you give us something about going to Tennessee and the challenge that presents?
Yeah, I don't want to look past Auburn, but I don't guess we'll have a press conference before we leave, so I guess we can talk about Tennessee now. They're playing good. Did see their game against South Carolina. I thought they battled with South Carolina because they got on the offensive boards. They've got length. They have length, and Tennessee had length last year, and they had length the first year I was at LSU. Obviously, Rakia makes them really tough. She'll be a top draft pick. They've got shooters that aren't afraid to pull the trigger. They've got transfers in there now in the backcourt. Their length and their ability to rebound is going to be a problem for a lot of teams. I'm sure it'll be a good atmosphere. If we should beat Auburn, I think both teams are playing to try to finish second in the league. I can't remember. I think they've got South Carolina again. But I'll listen to Rocky Top all the time we play. I'll play it till the girls look at me and beg me to turn it off. What they don't know is I really do like that song, so I'll keep playing it. It's not punishment for me. Yeah, Pat Summitt was quite the dresser back in her day. She wore the dresses, she wore the skirts. People forget all that. They want to talk about my dress. You should go back and see how Pat Summitt used to dress. She was stylish, very stylish. She had the shoulder pads, when that was in for women. Pat was quite the dresser herself.
We got any more for Coach Mulkey?
She showed up to that game that time in that cheerleader uniform. I don't know if you remember that.
I
Is that something
do.
that you would ever do?
A cheerleader uniform? I don't know if I could fit in those uniforms. They're pretty small. What was that for? She was doing something with Bruce Pearl, or something was being named at something. She was lost a. Yeah, she.
Came to one of their games, like dressed up with
Yeah.
some of his team, and so she paid it back.
I remember seeing that. Yeah. Pat. Miss that lady. She was a legend. She was quite a legend, and I was blessed to play for her. All right, y'all good? Anybody else? All right, Scott, what you got?
You are playing better defense. Why are you guys? What has been better about your defense? Or
Well,
the way you're
we're playing better because we're doing it. You can't teach it overnight. 2 returning players, so you had 3 players to put in the mix. Well, if you count Poa, 3 returning players, 3 new ones. You can't just say, go play man-to-man defense. There's so many details of what you teach, and it just takes time. And so they've been on that floor since October, and February, it's a good time to start playing better together defensively, and repetition, film work, understanding, knowledge, all those things make us better. And when they are all doing it at the same time and they're all on the same page, then it just looks a little bit smoother. It just looks a little bit better. We've always been a physical team. We're going to always be physical defensively, but it's just understanding concepts in transition defense, communicate, open your mouth, and we are better today than we have been. And I think a lot of it goes back to all those things I just said to you, and the fact that we had 2 bye weeks and we could just work on us.